Good evening and welcome. I'm Sheila Balgobin and I am the Dream Decipherer, and I help you to crack the code of your sleep and dreams so you can sleep sound and dream deep. This evening, been having a little bit of hiccups with my laptop, so I'm on my phone and it's a bit awkward, but there you go. That's life. So this evening, this is just one dream, but it involves, it's like a dream of two halves. One that looks at homework and the other one that looks at cars. So let's find out what's going on there. The dreamer reports that he went into his son's school in the morning to hand in some homework for his son. There's no explanation as to why the father was doing that, but there you are. The homework apparently involves a school book and a leaflet in a plastic case, which had a data chip in it. And as the teacher wasn't there, the dreamer deposited or left the homework on the teacher's desk with a note explaining what it was or who it was that had left it. In the afternoon, when the dreamer goes back in the afternoon to collect the homework, he parked in the parking lot, and the teacher was there, and he asked for the homework, and she said she hadn't seen it, and didn't seem very concerned about looking for it, and further implied that it was the dreamer's fault that it had gone missing in the first place. He was quite upset, apparently, and suggested that maybe the assignment had been placed in one of the trays on her desk. Having had this little altercation with the teacher, he then went outside where he had arranged to meet with another parent, and the identity of the parent wasn't certain. It was either two people. And the dreamer was excited about the fact that they were going out someplace, but when he went outside to the parking lot to find his car, it was gone. So that put paid to his plans, and there the dream ends. So what's going on here with lost homework and lost cars, and what's the connection between them? Well, let's try to unpick some of this and see what suggests itself. Now, the first thing that comes to mind is that school is a place of learning, and in this context, I would ask the dreamer if it's there's at some level, maybe an interior level, there is some learning going on, some education going on with internal assignments that are being given to the dreamer to tasks to carry out. But what I mean about perhaps this is representative of the dreamer of himself. First of all, dreams come from us and are about us, so it makes sense that it's about the dreamer in some way, even though ostensibly the focus is the son and his homework, or the absent son and his homework, which makes me wonder whether the son is actually in some way representative of an undeveloped or unacknowledged part of the dreamer that is learning, perhaps gaining insight into the dreamer himself. But the buildings of different kinds can have different contexts, and every dream is different because every dreamer is different. But I just wonder in this context if this school and the teacher represent at some interior kind of learning or readjustment or shifting in perspective as represented by the school. Because houses, for example, usually represent our inner spaces, the inner corners of our minds, so to speak. Kitchens can mean one thing, bathrooms another, for something different for each person. But a school, a place of learning, makes me think that there is some readjustment, perhaps, or reassessing or assessing going on within the dreamer himself. And the interesting thing that this is about it being a school, I recall from my own dreams that I went through a period for about 2 or 3 years where I was dreaming. I was in my old school, a primary school as it happened, going through different rooms, doing different things, science room, music room, different things, but each time moving up to a different floor. So I got to the top floor, and then suddenly I was outside the building. And there's something to ascending and descending in terms of perspective, in terms of our behavior, etc. But one of the questions that comes to mind here is, why was the dreamer bringing the son's homework to school? Was he ill? Was he on a trip? Did he have an accident? What had happened that the son was not able to turn in his homework himself? Looking at the son, I wonder here again if the son is actually representative of the dreamer's shadow, which is the unknown or unacknowledged or underdeveloped parts of ourselves. And another question that comes to mind was, well, why did the dreamer just leave the homework on the desk with a note rather than wait for the teacher to return? Were you in a hurry? You were just distracted and you just wanted to drop it off and be on your way? What was going on that you couldn't actually wait maybe 5 minutes for the teacher to return, or to leave it in the office, the main office to give to her to ensure that it was not gone astray? Now, when the dreamer returned to pick up the homework, you find that the teacher was neither concerned or interested in finding out what the outcome or the of these leaving this assignment is. Whether she found it, whether she didn't, she seemed to be indifferent. And I just wonder if this may be a sort of an obscure reference to children going back to school recently here in the UK, and that there's supposed to be a gradual easing of lockdown rules. There's also something in terms of this lost homework. Experts keep talking about a lost generation of children due to the impact of the virus on education, on their being able to get educated properly. And I wonder what the dreamer's feelings are about not only the return to school, but about what his children or child may have lost as a result of this lockdown. Then you have the teacher who appears to actually blame the dreamer for the missing homework. And the dreamer becomes upset by her attitude and suggested that she take a look at around her desk and see if she could find it. The matter's never resolved. We never find out whether the homework is actually ever found or what. But it's exactly like this lost generation of children that it's just gone. Nobody knows where it is. Nobody can tell you anything about it. It's just gone. Now, having finished with the teacher, the dreamer's annoyance turns into something more pleasant because he's excited about meeting up with a friend whose identity isn't very clear, but another parent, and to go out someplace. And I would ask that what do the person or persons represent to the dreamer? What aspect of them is resonates with the dreamer? There again, this seems to be another sideways reference to COVID, because they were talking about the gradual easing of lockdown. But look what happens when the guy goes, the dreamer goes to get in his car to go off and enjoy himself. He can't, because his car is gone. So you have a missing homework and a missing car. What's going on there? Now, cars or vehicles of any kind, I have found, often represent a person's journey through life. Sometimes we're on foot, going more slowly. Sometimes we're in a jet. Sometimes we're in a car, being driven or driving. And all of those things have different meanings for different people. But generally, it represents, whatever mode of transport it is, it represents the person's journey through life. So you have a missing car. Cars, they're a quick mode of transport. It implies self-agency since the person is driving rather than being driven. And so they're acting under their own power and at speed. But now the dreamer can't do that, perhaps. He's been stopped almost literally in his tracks by the fact that his car has gone missing. Has it been towed? Did he forget where he parked it? What happened? Did he ever find it? But the implications on a psychological level of this missing car is that there's a lack of power, that perhaps the dreamer needs to take time and go slow. And for the moment anyway, he may be going nowhere. And this is kind of, again, harks back to this easing of COVID restrictions, because it's being done in steps. And if the powers that be decide that it's the results are not going the right way, they'll slam the brakes on yet again, or delay the easing of restrictions. So there's something about, oh, goody, I can go out again. And then it's like, maybe not. So, it's a missed joy, you might say. But my question here for the dreamer is, how does he feel about this lost homework as well as this lost car, neither of which, in your eyes, I would imagine, wasn't your fault? You did due diligence, but things went haywire anyway. How do you feel about that? So to look at the connections between the different parts of this dream, there's the theme here of loss, and loss perhaps more pointedly due to COVID, but just loss in a more general sense. You're talking about lost generations of children in terms of their education, lost opportunities to meet with friends, even though it's a tantalizing possibility. But it's a loss in terms of freedom. There's seems to be tying all of this together, not just things going missing, but a sense of loss, a sense of disappointment, a sense of anger even about the situation. And there have been certain ructions among parents and teachers about schools reopening, all kinds of things. So there's a bit of a hope for the future in this, but yet a more pessimistic view, or a view that this thing is still going to be annoying me and getting in the way of my life for some time to come. So there you have it. You have more COVID woes, but less obvious. But talking about lost things, lost opportunities, lost chances, lost in thought even. But it's up for the dreamer to decide which of those threads that needs to be worked on to understand the full message behind the dream. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Have a great evening and rest of the week to come, and I'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.